All right, guys, let's go ahead and talk about crazy power now. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Let's start by going to our global settings and setting everything back to where we were, just so I've got like apples to apples description of what's going on. Enable the sidebar widget. Yeah, actually, but put on the right. No Google Translator, no heading. Doesn't matter about this if the heading's flipped off because this top part governs the bottom part. Although you might just go no anyway. Enable navigation, no. And yes to the banner slider, but not the video. By the way, you could get rid of the image, when you're doing a video, and that way you just get the background color that you assign to the banner background. So I could update that. Let me just do that real fast to show you. So let me do a 4.7 second on that. Okay. Now, let me just go back to the main page. Okay. Yeah, see? So this is just the banner background color, right? Where that color come from? Well, that's just it. In our typography section, do a Control F for banner to get there faster, right? Then somewhere in there is a color for the background, or if it's not set specific to that, it's like a page background. So for instance, at the very top, there's certain settings that cover the entire thing, like the body background color 099999. That might be it, right? Here's a way to tell. Use a tool that lets you drag in copy colors like that one. There it is, 099999, that's the one. So that actually copied it to my clipboard, by the way. So if I did want to go back here and paste it over something else, I could do it. Now I don't want to. So I will click off and then back on. All right. But you guys saw what's going on so far. All right, so let me do this though. Typography, Control F, banner. I do want to change, go down, there. I want to change the height, banner height, back up to 939 for a full size image, right? You can make it any height you want, really. Okay, boom, there. So first it's doing this because I changed the typography page, so don't freak out, just hit the button again. Okay, and there you have it. Now obviously the taller it goes, the wider it gets to go as well, because it can't get skewed, right? That's just the whole thing, it's an MP4 video. All right, so there you go. Now what? Oh, did it not say anything? Because I wanna make sure it says some stuff too. Hold on. All right, so let me come back to theme settings, come down to banner. Let's see, we're gonna do 7 seconds. Instead of the looping video, we're gonna get our image back. Happens to be it. Otherwise I would browse and grab it, right? Images, banners, find the one I wanted, which happened to be 3. So double click and it's there. Update, right? That's really how easy that is. It's not exactly hard. Okay. Okay. And there you go. All right. And as you see, you can adjust the wording and where the link points because it's all right there. Banner slider settings. It's enabled. Where the slider time, the background image and or video. Heading 1 is whatever combination of variables I wanted for that. Button text is whatever variable and or combination of variables and static text if I want it. This is static text, right? For the, because it's not a variable, it's static. But it's up to me what I want that to be. And where does it go? Well, wherever I assigned it to go, destination URL. If I wanted these to go to different destinations, I would make destination URL 1, destination URL 2, destination URL 3. So I would just add those columns into my Excel file, upload that, so that those things can match up, right? And so in my Excel file, I'll put stuff for each of those 3 destination URLs. Different links, right? Different choices. 1 or more per column. All right, let me go ahead and point out some really cool stuff. I'll start with the least fascinating one, but it's still cool. See this thing about generate key? If I hit it, it will update the security key. You might wonder, what is security key anyway? I'll just show you. Here's the idea. When you first log in through the admin panel, you arrive on the dashboard. And then if you want to go anywhere, you have to click something more in order to get there. Like maybe I want to go to my global variables, okay? Or maybe I want to log in and go straight to my VarSheet loader to add some more pages. Wouldn't that be cool? Well, that would mean I want to go straight here, okay? Now keep in mind that our security key is demo right now. Unless I hit this, then it'll give me some randomly generated alphanumeric key that I'll have to like write down or memorize, okay? But for the time being, it's something I can understand. It's very easy. It's demo. Here's how it works. I can copy any one of these administrator links, okay? Any link inside the administrator panel, okay? And I can paste it like anywhere. So say I would paste it maybe in Excel. I'm keeping a list of these URLs. But for instance, what if I wanted to go straight to my VarSheet? Okay, tab. Well, I can do it. After the .php, I'm going to put a question mark because I'm going to execute a query. And that's going to be key, security key, right? Key equals, what is it? Demo. That means DEMO. Okay. Now that I have that, this is a direct link to this page, logging me in the process because I happen to know the key. Okay. Again, I can hit that and randomly generate a new key, and then this will no longer work. I would have to know the new key, right? Have to log in through the regular login way to get a new key. By the way, this key is not the same as the login password unless you intentionally were to make the login password the same as the generated key, right? Okay, so what other page might I want to go directly to? Just to show you how far this goes, let's say I wanted to go to global variables. For some reason, I really needed to go to the final page of the variables. Check this out. Administrator/var.php. That should be enough, right? Key equals demo. So if I'm logged out, but I visit that link, it'll log me right in, and now I can go anywhere I want in the panel. But that's not going to be enough for me right yet. So let me just copy that part on the end, because I want to go all the way to the final page of the variables. Page equals 4, right? I think it goes all the way through like page equals 8. Let me just change it to 8. So I don't have to tap. Yep, look at that, 449 variables now, and there it is. It's so-called the 9th page, but you know, the first page is like page 0, page equals 0. So now I can put my code here, and I can copy that, and stick that in here. Can you do it with other pages? Yeah, like any of them. So if I wanted to go straight to the sidebar, see, this saves you all the login and navigation time, right? And besides, you'll just get used to all the URLs because they're all the same. It's just something.php or something else.php or something else.php. And then it's always the same question mark key equals whatever it is, right? Let me do one more. And that's going to be global settings, because that gives me custom_HTML. Okay, and I'll do it again. Now, watch this. I'm going to sign out. Okay, say I had no idea what the password was to this thing, right? But somebody else gave me access using these keys, like temporary keys, for me to log in and do some work. And then when I report back and say I'm done, he's going to generate a new key. And so these will no longer work. I will no longer be able to get in. And yet, I never knew the normal password in the first place. You know, I could try demo, but it won't be it. It's not the right password. So he'll never see my password. And I only give him temporary access to do his work. Watch this. Control V. And go. Boom. I'm logged in. And I'm exactly on that VarSheet page where I can upload a VarSheet, or I can download the one that's in the system right now, or I can generate 1,000 rows into my sitemap right now. I'm there. Ain't that cool? I could even generate 1,000 rows to add from row 1001 on. Well, what if I did this one instead? Again, let me log out because I'm signed in right now. Let me do it a different way. Whoops. Oh, it doesn't want to do it after all. And I know that's because this is like, it's a function that we haven't touched in a long time. So it just doesn't, we didn't check to see whether that's enabled. We'll fix that in an update just cause. But the reality check is we get to fix everything remotely now. These legacy UAP panels are going to run and keep running because we find great value in them. We're going to give new, cooler var sheets over the course of time as people buy into these. And we're going to make some updates that we already have in mind anyways, people buy into these. And whoever gets it at whatever price, they're locked in at that price and the updates will be free for the rest of the year. So it's really, really awesome. Then you still get to keep it after a year. Anyway, it's just that we won't keep updating it once it's more than a year old. We do everything by the year. That way we can keep track of where we're at. All right. Copy. Log out again. Let me go there. Boom. And I'm there. I can go to any one of these tabs like right now and just start doing whatever I want to do. Ain't that cool? Okay, what else? Let me take out the page equals 8. Oh, I see why. Look at that. I had 2. I had, page equals 8, question mark. You can't have 2 question marks. It's got to be ampersand at that point. If there is already a query, like question, page equals 8, then you can't do a query because you're already doing the query. It's got to be page equals 8 and key equals demo. Okay, watch this. I'm going to highlight that one. I'll bet it does work. In which case, that update's done. Control V. By the way, all our updates will update remotely from the outside. You won't even necessarily know. You just log in and things are updated. You know, so if you have any bug, just report it. We'll fix it for everyone. If anyone else discovers a bug and reports it, we'll wind up fixing it for you. Paying to get in earlier just saves you money because the price is going to keep going up because these are obviously going to keep getting better as we go. It's very simple. Okay, they're really powerful. All right, so there you go. There's just a really, really awesome way to get where you're going right away. If you save these in Excel, they become clickable links. You can just click any one of them to suddenly be right there inside the panel. Now that's cool. All right, that explains that. And if I hit generate key, like I said, it changes this. So none of these links work anymore. I would have to replace demo with the new security key, right? If I want to be real careful, I'll replace key equals demo with key equals the new security key. That way, in case the word demo is actually somewhere in here, right? All right, real quick, you want to be able to, you definitely want to make sure that you have these legacy UAPs installed on the root of your website or the sitemap will not work. The sitemap cannot work from a subdomain on your website, but if your panel is on the root, then it can produce a sitemap. That will work on the website. Okay, so there we go. There's that. Now, where do I go next? We could do themes. It's kind of pretty involved, so I don't want to do it right now. It's just more than you need to know right now. Let's keep it nice and simple. Here's the part that you're ready for. It's got to be the most exciting part, right? Yeah, submit sitemap. Isn't that awesome? All you do is hit the button. You just do it. Hit the button. That's if you're doing it manually, and you don't even need to do it because our system does it when you generate a sitemap. It goes and does it for you. Isn't that awesome? All right, let's take a look at the rest of this stuff that's really, really cool, and that's this. Var sheet loader. Okay? I can upload a var sheet. I can give it some generic name just so I know what the name is and upload it. This will only ever use one var sheet at a time. Okay? So if you upload one, that's it. It replaces the one that came before it for purposes intended. By the way, every time you upload a var sheet, it will delete your sitemap. You will recreate your sitemap. You will recreate it with more rows if you want. But if you have the var sheet uploaded in the system and you don't make any changes to it, okay, then you can do 2 things. One, you can keep adding more pages, okay, which you'll see how to do in a minute. And 2, you can go all through anywhere in here and make any changes to the tokens. And that will not break your sitemap at all. So if you want to add more sidebar items, if you want to use the geo token, city or state in more places, If you want to enable more sections and put more wording into it, static and or variables in any combination, then there you go. Word to the wise, bulk export utility is no longer used. We don't support it. We should just take it out of here. That was for an old version of the website. It used to generate a subdomain every minute. Takes too long. We're way past that now. And if you did not create the subdomains, then it would do one every 3 minutes. It was horrible. So it could only do 20 rows into a sitemap every hour. That was then. Okay, that's years ago. We should just take that out. Now it's automatic, right? So var sheet. Okay, let's talk about it. You first got the legacy UAP and you must be thinking, where is my var sheet? Just download it. It's already in the system. Hit download. There it is. It's an Excel file. The Excel file, if we take a look at it, looks like this. We can enable editing up here. You know how that works, right? Make sure to do that. Okay. Now, at first, it's going to seem a touch daunting, but bear in mind that this stuff isn't meant to be. Everything that starts off with zeros and nulls, just leave it be. Ignore it. So this, don't even touch this, right? This is stuff to learn later. You don't need it now. What you're doing now is plenty enough, okay? Now, what do we say about sprinkling in some cities, which is optional, and some keywords? It's pretty much it. And then just some other things, okay, that fill out the website. City. If you are going for geo-targets or you want to target the top 100 most populous cities in the nation, put in your list here. How many cities can you put here? 35,000. We have a city list for the entire US. If you have a legacy UAP and you would like that city list, let me know. Piece of cake. Okay. Service. Keyword. What do you really think that is? It's the keywords that I copied twice. So this is the keyword. If I were to do research, I would have come up with these. I didn't. We created emoji, so they're just keywords for emoji, right? And then what did I do? I simply did this. Notice how there's one more than there is over here. I'll explain why in a minute. But here's what I did. I took my keywords, copied it, and then just pasted it. And then, because I didn't want them to match, okay, I wanted to create more diversity than that. I just cut the top one off and inserted it at the bottom, insert cut cells. And that way they're off alignment. They're all different now, which is good, except I want to do all of these times all of these times all of these. Now, here's going to be where you're going to learn something. Notice how this is the column headers, right? Guess what? It runs all the way to the end. And what do you think that'll be at the end? Number 449, right? It says var 996, but it is physically the 449th variable. Like I said, the order doesn't matter. It only matters to be unique, right? If there is a var 938, there better not be another var 938 anywhere, okay? So this has all been done for you, so you don't have to do it, right? Which is cool, because it's all matched. All these things are matched to the pages already for you. Wherever these variables show up in the pages, it chooses from the wording here for each subdomain. So some of these headers are just simple verbiage, right? And as you can imagine, in the global variables page, that's the token equivalent, right? And you would need it here, except we had the wherewithal to say, man, that's a whole lot of extra typing you shouldn't have to do. So we just made it possible for you to enter the column headers without those tokenizations, okay? The letters match exactly. The numbers match exactly, but you don't need the tokens. So of course, that one doesn't have one, that doesn't have one, but then you see this and you think, well, what the heck is that? These are just brackets without percentage signs, right? And you're thinking, what is that? Why is that there even? Because then you see it's on a lot of these. It's on these, for instance, but then it stops. It goes that far and then stops. But then you see it again, here, here, and here, here, here. But then it stops here. And you're like, why? Okay, here's the short answer. It's a variable sheet, okay? Anywhere where there's one option, that's the only possible option, no matter how many subdomains we create. Anywhere where there's more than one option, then those can be chosen from randomly, page generation by page generation. In other words, as we generate each subdomain, it will use a random value here for all of the pages on that one subdomain. They'll all be for Miami on one subdomain. But for a different subdomain, they could all be for Cincinnati. Okay? Well, if it's random, right? Like literally random. And that's when you realize that's good in some cases, not in others. Okay? And that's going to unlock the mystery. For instance, it is okay if this does not line up with that. We've already decided it's okay if these do not line up. So there are no brackets. There's the point of the brackets. Brackets force each subdomain to go in order. So the first subdomain uses, if it had brackets on it, it doesn't. Let me just do it for a minute. Okay. The first subdomain we generate will use the first value. The second uses the second value. Third uses the third, all the way down. What happens when it gets to the end? Starts over and keeps going. So if you said I want 1,000, it's going to go from here to here, then here to here, then here to here, then here to here, over and over again until it gets to 1,000. Then it stops, obviously. Okay, it has to stop at the max. Okay. Well, the next row has no brackets. So it's random, 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 down through 1,000. Now, randomness can be really, really cool where the words don't have to be precise. Where is a case where it would have to be precise? Geotargets is definitely one, isn't it? If you've got a city like Phoenix, doesn't it always have to be in a state like Arizona, which always has the state abbreviation AZ? So as you can imagine, by the time we get to the bottom and it goes to start over again, this is the exact same height. It's on the same row, right? And it starts over again, except why is this out of order? I just noticed. This is Alabama, and that's not. It's Wisconsin. What's it doing down there? Massachusetts, Minnesota, Missouri, Nevada, New Jersey. I'm going to find this thing in a second. Oregon, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island. Maybe it's just right above it. That's so bizarre. Virginia, Washington. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that funny? I don't know how that happened. Maybe I was demonstrating something. Whoops. Ow. Should have switched it. Okay. So, wherever it uses that city, it will therefore use that and that. And whatever would come up in any other row. Now, you might think, why doesn't Webmaster have one? Webmaster's the email for forgot password. There will only be one. So whether you have one or not is inconsequential. This is the only value you're going to use. Okay? Because this actually doesn't even show up in the production. That was just for your ease. Just having it here in the file, okay, to be able to manipulate it in the file along with everything else you manipulate. Well, what about like that? That's got brackets, but there's only one option. Well, yeah, it's just going to keep choosing the same one over and over again until I add more options. So if I start doing productions for more than one client or colleague or friend or church or me, then I would have more. I'm just still going to keep the brackets there, though, to remind myself that it matters to keep that in order. Why? Because if this is for a dentist and that is for a plumber and that is for a roofer, well, then all of my keywords have to match. So really, I would think about it differently. See how my keywords might have brackets? I might have those keywords for the dentist, and then the next set of keywords would be like for the plumber, and the next set would be for the roofer, right? Whatever projects I want, okay? And with that in mind, doesn't it follow that your domain could be matched to those? It could be like dentist domains followed by, plumber domains followed by roofer domains. Couldn't it be that the brand name is dentist followed by, plumber followed by roofer? Yeah. So there you have it. That's why a bunch of these do have brackets on them, okay? You won't see that on the website pages, right? The pages themselves don't do anything other than the same thing every time. Tokens are tokens and always show up the same way. Okay? So they're always going to look like this no matter what. Okay? But on the Excel file, right, brackets are where we want things in order. Now, if you think about it, it can get pretty interesting. What if I wanted to mix and match all my combinations of service with keyword to get unique combinations? Well, every time it gets to the bottom, that's 11, right? It says 12, but it's really just 11. Okay? Then it will be starting over again. So when it gets done with this, then it starts over with that. Wow. So I only have 11 possible combinations here. But what if I got rid of one of these or added another keyword in here? Maybe I could think of another keyword. But if I can't, what if I just clear that? How many combinations have I got now? Well, by the time this gets down to row 11, that already at row 10 ran out. So the next choice must be this. Oh, so that's going to line up for the next row. And then this, and then this is going to be offset by 1. And when it gets to here and here, then it's going to go here and here. So now it's going to be offset by 2. How many combinations possible? 11 times 10. It's 11 sets of 10. So it's 110 combinations all of a sudden of uniqueness I just created. So that is now 110 times what for the cities? All I have to do is make sure that the cities are not equal value to my service. Either add a city or take one away. But it's better to just add a keyword, take one away. I don't know. Up to you and your project. Sometimes you'll say it's better to add a city or take one away. Sometimes you'll say it's better to add or take away a keyword. But as long as this does not have if that has an odd number, like it does, it says 36, but it's really 35, and that lines up with 11, I just got to make sure 35, and it starts over, isn't going to line up perfectly with this. Well, it won't. It would have had to been 33, right? Because then that would be 11, 11, 11, then again 11, 11, 11. So then it would be that, and then this exactly 3 times, and then it would do that over and over again. But it's not going to work that way, isn't it? Because it's offset. So this will really be how many combinations? 35 times 110. 3,500 and what? 350? So 3,850 unique combinations. Now here's the reason I'm pointing that out with these 3 columns. City, service, and keyword form the format for the URLs in your sitemap. It will be city-service.domain.com/keyword.html. That will be the format. Okay? So it is really important to maximize these 3 values to get the most URLs possible. If you only have 5 of these, 5 of those, and 5 of those, and that's it, and you stopped and you made them all match, you can only get 5 unique URLs out of it. Even if you say, give me 1,000 pages, the URLs will keep overriding themselves. Even if the sitemap shows 1,000, it's really just repetitively the same 5 over and over and over and over and over again. And anytime you click the lower ones, they're going to have the exact same values as the higher ones because they're going to default to the higher ones. See, it is the URL that determines the row. So just don't be dumb about it. It's however many cities times however many, like let's say keywords, times services say times however many keywords, right? So it's up to you, the combinations that you want to make. But you can only go this times this times this at the most. And that's if you're making sure that they offset, right? So that they'll work their way through. Okay? So it's very simple. Put in an odd number followed by an odd number followed by an even different odd number. And that's it. Just offset them each by 1 or something, or just multiples, and then add 1 at the bottom, or even 2, as long as it's not lined up. Then it can go through all the combinations. Okay. Now, the rest of it's just there, all right, to fill in all those pages with whatever it is you wanted. So what can you change? City, service, keyword, long state, short state, webmaster, website title, domain with HTTP or HTTPS, but it's just saying don't forget to put the beginning part of the domain on, okay, for this column. Anything you put in here better start with HTTP or HTTPS. Brand name. Well, what is the brand name of whatever you're pitching? Clickable image. Now, really, we've got the gliding wording that comes down on the image, but that's in the banner, right? This isn't that. This is the one that's showing up in the middle of all those pages, the clickable image. Can we have more than one? Sure. This is the clickable image right here. Can we have more than one to choose from, even randomly or organized? Absolutely. You know how cool that is? Because then you can do a bunch for the dentist, followed by a bunch for the plumber, followed by a bunch for the roofer. One for the dentist, one for the plumber, one for the roofer. Get it? Destination URL. Somebody clicks anywhere in the entire website where it's using destination URL, which is like everywhere, right? Then it's going to go there, right? What's that mean? This goes there. This goes to destination URL. That's just the way I lined this project up, right? That goes to destination URL. That one goes to the destination URL. That one does too. They're the same wording. They should go to the same URL. Do I have it happen every time I use the wording? No. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous if it's always highlighted as a link. If I go to any of these other pages, right? This is going to the destination URL. That's exactly the whole point. This is not. This is staying right here on one of the pages of this website, right? But that is going to the destination URL, right? That's the way this is set up. Like I said, you can create more destination URLs and mix and match them in your system. Now that you understand how you use tokens just anywhere and everywhere you want, right? Anywhere and everywhere that you can type a token, it will work. Like anywhere. Type tokens anywhere. And so, like, you can't type it here. This is just a drop-down box, right? But you can put it here. You can put it here. You can put it here, put it there, so on and so forth. Okay, starting to see the fluid nature of this thing? All right, so you put in all your destination URLs, one or more for the dentist, one or more for the plumber, one or more for the roofer. You know, all the Shopify URLs, Shopify images, Shopify brand names for their carts. That guy's Shopify URL, or, well, the one you're on, actually, which is it? The Shopify URL or the one you're on? The one you're on. And the company, yeah, this is for here on your website. I should be saying wiblitz5.com and https wiblitz5. But this, of course, goes somewhere. It's meant to leave. Okay. Say I want to use the contact form. Yeah, that's the point. There's the email for the contact form, the regular email. So that would be like for the dentist. That would be the one for the dentist, followed by the one for the plumber, followed by the one for the roofer, right? That's why we have brackets, to keep all this stuff perfectly matched, right? Or offset where we want things offset. So you get to create all those cool combinations. Just keep things lined up that need to be lined up and allow everything else to get offset to create more variation. Okay. Now, if I do have like a company, you know, with an email maybe, any value you're not going to use, by the way, you know what you put there? Null. Just null. Save. All right? Or it doesn't even matter because you just won't enable the contact forms, will you? You won't enable the sections that show the company name, right? If there is no company name or phone number, you just don't enable those sections. So it really doesn't matter what you have in here. Okay? Because these are just showing up in the header for when you are enabling the header with the company information. Okay? Phone and SMS, same thing now. If you're not going to use it, just don't show it on the website and it won't show. Okay? Don't turn on a sidebar option that has it. Don't turn on the header. Just turn all that stuff off. So it really doesn't matter what you have in here. It won't affect anything. The output web pages aren't going to have this information, or they will be commented out, which Google reads as not existing information. Here's your API key. If If you ever need to change your Google Map API key, just change it here. Okay. Now what do you got? Keywords. Notice I did the keywords and then I copied and pasted them over and over again. But then I took the top one off, put on the bottom. Top 2 off, put them on the bottom. Top 3 off, put them on the bottom. Top 4, top 5, top 6. That way I could do, and at this point, it's just that many keyword combinations, but my pages talk about the different keywords in different locations. Why'd I do that? For this reason. I want this stuff to say something different than this, to say something different than this, to say something different than that, to say something different than that. Okay? That was just a personal choice. Right? You can do whatever you want for these things. You can choose just whatever combinations and variations you want. Okay? You can even rename the pages. Make them any name you want. Okay? And you can resort the pages as you've seen. Now in this last case, I copied my thing, cut the tops off, put them on the bottom, but then I put a plus sign in there. Any idea why? Because in my page, I use this, external links base. So some of my pages have one ask link, while others of my pages are going to have a Wikipedia link. Each one is going to do a query for whichever of these keywords. Now you need plus signs because these are going to be URLs and you don't want spaces in your URLs. So all I did was take a set, highlight it like that, do a Control H, replace all spaces with a plus sign. Boom. Okay. So the only place I am using keyword 7 is for the one link where that's happening on the page. To see where that's happening, scroll down a bit. It's not the top links. That one stays on the website. You can tell down here, right? Where you can see the link up here. That stays on, that goes to my destination page the way I want it. I think it's all commented with no follows. If you want to experiment with follows, you can. Usually better with no follows, right? Because you don't want all your pages to link to the same place with do follows. All right, now look. Emoji toolbar endeavor, right? There it goes. You can see by the URL at the bottom, ask.com/web?q equals. That's that part. That part. Then what? Then this. And then whatever variable came next, okay? Endeavor in this case. By the way, which variables does your website use by default when you upload a var sheet? Aha, the first row, right? Everything in that first row, that's because that's the only row that will always have something in it, okay? Like look, there's the word R here, but there's nothing below it. Right? We can't use the second row. We're going to have holes in the data. Must be that the first row has something everywhere, because why would we create a variable if it doesn't have at least one value? Maybe we'll add to it later, but there's got to be at least one value. Okay? And there you go. Really long, detailed out, right? But that first row forms the front page global variables by default. We can control that. Okay? Now, I think I've gone through this enough. The only other points to make are these. Do not put things below these. They're system columns. A through K must be here in this order. You can choose to put brackets around these or not. You should. That way you can make sure you're getting every combination of city times service times keyword and not duplicates, right? That's just wise. Okay. After that, everything is user defined. It's really totally up to you what you want. Now think about it. If you have variables here that you are not using in the pages, no problem. They're just in reserve. They're in case you get around to using them. You can put null and literally, just get rid of everything else. Clear contents and make that null and that null. You can do that. Or you don't really need to care, like I said, because just don't enable the sections in the system that use long state or short state. Okay. But if you do have a value in here somewhere, like for instance, admin email says webmaster. If that was not here, if this was not there, okay, then how in the world is the page supposed to know what the value should be? It won't know. It'll be a broken entry, right? A blank. It'll literally not even have a space. It'll just show nothing, okay? So, and by the way, you can change this to a regular email address if you want. You don't need to use the token. So like I said, if it's in the pages are looking up the values in this file somewhere, okay? So it's got to be in the file in order to use in the pages, right? That should make sense. All right. And so you can just use these combinations. Now, how far do you go usually? Well, about the time you get to var1, that's variable 1, these are generics. These are the rest of the contents of the page all the way across. So you will generally only change through AH, whatever it is that you want to be here, and then you will not generally change anything here. Now, for the guys who are more advanced, you're creating lots of pages, you're starting to get used to where these variables are. They're generally in order, so they generally go from the top down on the page. Although they can be used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times on any page, right? You might want to come back and just get rid of some or match some up. You may care to put brackets around these two to line these up. It's up to you. You can do whatever you want. If you want to add more columns, I would say add them at the end, because then, you won't delete anything or change anything that you would ordinarily want to keep there. And so you could just make something new, right? Like year start, the year that the company started. And it could be like, 1986, 1985, whatever the years are, right? Except I'll say one thing. Sometimes you'll forget to go all the way to the end of the file. And besides, who wants to go all the way to the end of the file? So I would not. I would delete that and put it where? Probably at the end of your user-defined ones, You might just stick it here, right? Insert. And that's where you'd have it. And I shouldn't have deleted it, should I have? I should have cut it. So, let me try it. Ready? Cut. And then come back before all those vars, insert cut cells. There, see? Double click up here to stretch it out, just so I can see it better. Save it. That way when you upload it into the system, there is now that. It's in reserve. You may never use it on the pages. That's up to you. But if there's some place where you decide to put it into the page anywhere, like here, or anywhere else, then it's up to you. It could be a new sidebar icon saying, we have experience, and it could be the alt code that pops up on that, okay? By the way, yeah, you can do that. Take a look at this, in case you didn't know. Credit cards, it's got one here, right? If I double click it, the alternative text says, we accept all major credit cards, right? It could say, in city, for, keywords 1, and I could do that. I can get away with it, okay? Totally legitimate, okay? I'm just going to cancel it, but yeah, exactly, I can do that. And if you can't reach the title tag and you want to, hit source code. Just deal with it literally in here. Go make your changes exactly in here the way you want them made. Sometimes, yeah, like there's your title tag, right? That's what actually hovers. When you hover, that's what you actually see, not the alt code, okay? So you make your changes, just save them, hit update, okay? So you can add stuff in, right? Now, there's that. And now that you understand that, that's great. But I'm going to delete it because I want to upload it and have it if I'm not going to use it. Although it wouldn't matter, like I said. If you do have it in here, it's just a repository of possibilities. So A through K are required for the whole thing to generate sitemaps. You don't need any more after that, except your website is so full of variables all throughout all the pages that your pages will look really, really funny without anything to fill those spots, right? So you kind of do need the variables for all the obvious reasons. All right, having said that, we've gone through all the stuff you can adjust and make changes to and extrapolate on and make variations of and spread out and keep aligned or randomize in any combinations you want, okay? It's not like all your bracketed ones have to go together. You can have one that's in brackets, one that's not, another that's not, another that is, but all the bracketed ones will go in order. All of them. So they'll go in order no matter where they are. They'll go in order, right? And then repeat. All your non-bracketed ones will be whatever variability. And again, if you only have one here, one entry, it doesn't really matter if it's bracketed or not. And so the only reason I don't bracket that is to remind myself that I cannot choose. You know, this is not a variable that can be changed. You know, it's just the forgot password function for the panel that doesn't change sitemap by sitemap, subdomain by subdomain. Okay, so all this is done. This thing is done. It's been done. So how does it work? This is the part that's so easy. I can do it in seconds. Okay, here's how it works, right? Let me go back to my dashboard. So I would load a var sheet. Okay, I would give it a name, maybe like UAP 1. I might do 2, 3, 4. I might even make it like version 1, so I might do V1. And I'll choose the file, which I can luckily just drag and drop, and I'll hit submit. Now I'm not going to do it because I forgot what I changed, but it will just take like 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and it'll be done. Okay, literally done, and it's in the system, and it'll tell you it's in the system now. You're good to go. All right, so the next part I will do. By the way, like I said, download the latest one to have the latest one. You can import the latest one with no changes. It'll just overwrite. Remember that when you upload one, it will delete your sitemap. So again, should that be scary? Not really. If you've got brackets around the columns you care about, then you're going to generate the same URLs into the sitemap the exact same way as before. You might add some more variations, but just make sure they line up in such a way that you get through all your combinations. And so it doesn't matter if the sitemap changes the order of the URLs as long as it includes all the URLs you want. But here's the cool part about that. The random items will change on the pages. You know what that means? A bunch of your pages will wind up staying the same and a bunch will get changed if you were to rerun the same sitemap later. So Google can see that you're keeping your site fresh, that you're making updates to pages, that you're still there. So just by running a sitemap, rerunning it, adding to it, even just adding 5 pages to it, it's going to submit the sitemap again. Google's going to realize you have more pages. Google's going to index more. You're going to wind up getting more traffic through there. And that's totally awesome. But having said that, it just keeps your site fresh. The biggest thing that people do wrong is they think they can set and forget a website. Websites start to age and go down in rank after 2 weeks if no one makes a change to anything on the website or goes out and creates backlinks pointed in at the website. About every 2 weeks, you have to do one of those at least, if not both of them. Okay? Just, you know, if you're not doing both of them. Right? You need Google to know you're fresh and still there and making some kind of sensible change. The cool thing with the way we do it is you can easily do that. And I'll show you right now how easy it is. Let's go back to the fact that we have no sitemap here and fix that. Ready? So, sitemap. Totally blank, right? Okay, I only got my front page here, my sitemap page. Here's how we do it. We already uploaded it, so it's in the system. Generate. I want like 1,000 rows in my sitemap. Now stop and think, how many pages is that? Is that 1,000 pages? No, because we have how many pages? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are going to be 6 pages generated into each of those subdomains. There are going to be 6,000 pages added to this website by adding 1,000 rows. Okay? Starting ID. Well, it's got to be 1 because there's nothing there. So I'm going to start with 1. Boom. Submit. Okay. So I'm just going to wait for it to go ahead and create all that stuff. I wonder how long it's going to take. Oh, it's done. 6,000 new pages added to my website. They're all here. City-keyword or city-service.domain.com/keyword.html, just like I said. And it went from the top down, and it did all the combinations of city followed by all the combinations of service followed by the keyword, right? And it created 1,000 of these subdomains. If I go to any one of them, like Charlotte, okay, let's take a look. Oh, this is in Charlotte. Charlotte Convention Center. I can see it right there, right? There, you can read it. Everything's here that I wanted here. Contact forms there. Anything else I happen to want here is here. Okay, I could put the geo-target in the page title now, if I care, right? I could stick the geo-target into a couple of places in the sentences where it just fits. Mass optimized web page generation dash serving city residents or city businesses, right? And all of a sudden I got my city in here, and that's going to work instantly for all of my sitemap. There's the beauty. By just making the change on one Moji review page, it's going to change 1,000 Moji review pages equally, depending on those tokens in static wording and whatever kind of a script. If I had a script to my Moji review page, I just added it to the 6,000 Moji review pages that are, or the 1,000 Moji review pages in here, like chat live script or something that pops up on that page. Okay, whatever I want. If I flip on the phone, it flips it on for all of these. If I flip on company information, enable the map, it goes on for all of these, and it matches every different place, like Denver. Watch. Global settings, theme settings. Let's do a Control F for map. Got me down there really fast. Let's flip on the form so we can flip on the map. And let's just say that's all we want. Boom, right? Now, if I come back and look at the bottom and redo it, okay, there's the map in the sidebar. There's the map at the bottom. Big old map. Ain't that cool? Says Phoenix. And of course, in the sidebar it says Phoenix, right? Whatever phone number went with that row, which is the main row. Now what? What if I go to Birmingham? Guess what? All the stuff here, I could have geo-targets up in here. 10% off shipping to Birmingham clients. Whatever I want. This will still click to wherever I want. Oh my gosh, it's the Birmingham map. Anywhere where it would say the city would now say Birmingham. There's my Birmingham map. Every one of the pages has been appropriately updated. If I had variables for the cities and the states in my testimonials, they will match. They will be for the surrounding Birmingham area or whatever. You know, it's up to me, right? All these related pages will also talk about Birmingham if I put Birmingham as a geo-target in here somewhere, right? It's just wherever I want to do it. So if I stuck the word Birmingham into one of these pages, like effectiveness, let me just see which one that is. Watch this. Effectiveness. I'm going to go there. It's Moji Reviews page. Perfect. And I want to say something. Click here for the greatest Moji affiliate, greatest Birmingham Moji affiliate groups, right? Watch this. For the greatest, I'm going to put it here. Okay. City. Groups. Oops. I think I lost the coding there. Wouldn't you know? Go into the source code. Yeah, anytime that you like screw something up, just go in the source code or back up or just cut it out and start back over if you have to. There we go. I just want to get it in there, right? Boom. Here we go. Groups. Or group. Or I make that a variable. So it says group sometimes, groups other times. Update. There we go. Okay. Man, was that a lot of work. Except I just equally updated Birmingham Emoji Affiliate Group. All those pages equally. Now, this is not word wrapping well, so you know what I'm going to do? Put a break tag in there. Greatest. Okay. And I can put it in here. 178. I might do it this way again, just cause. That way I can get to it more easily. Yeah, just stick a break tag in here. There, that's all I needed to do. Now it's on 2 lines. Okay? Won't always be a perfect fit, but it'll usually be a perfect fit. See? Look at that. Ain't that nice? Okay? So what's that mean? That means that every one of those pages, in other words, I just updated 1,000 web pages. If I come over here, Salt Lake City, and I go to that same page, well, it was a review or reviews? Effectiveness. Yeah. Look at that. Follow this link above for the finest Salt Lake City mass web page generator group. How's that? So yeah, the level of control that you have is as marked and complete as you want it to be with little effort, and your ability to update all those pages is just surreal. I can update them by physically making updates like that. I could add a new page. I can add a new page, shuffle it into the menu. I can put it in the middle of the menu. I can go in the page and I can write a lot of static stuff and throw in some of the variables that already exist. And boom, I just created a brand new page. That means for my 1,000 rows of my subdomain, I literally created 1,000 brand new pages. The more variables, the better. The more diversity, the better. If I want to stick in some image onto this page at the top, I don't know, or bottom left, and I just decide to stick an image in here, I'm going to browse for it. I don't know what I want it to be. How about support that girl? Yeah, she's too big. I want her to be like 250. Okay. I'm going to put some horizontal space and vertical space, 15, alignment to the left. Alternative text. You know, I want it to be something like call phone, you know, in city now, right? There you have it. There's that. Now I'm going to copy that. I could turn it into a link or something, but I don't want to. But the reason I copied it, because if I go to the source code and find it again, and if I have to, I'll put this in Notepad to find it, except I don't have to, I don't think. Nope. There it is. Where's the title tag? If there's no title tag, I'm going to create one really, really quick. Why? Because I know how. I mean, it's not really hard. Image, there's the alt. How do you create a title tag? Really, you just make a copy of the alt tag and call it title. And make sure there's a space on either side of it. Control C. Doesn't matter which side it's on. These are all attributes of equal value. Just don't break where spaces are. Although you can have more than one space. Ooh, look at that. Update. Guess what that means? I just added an image to 1,000 pages. And it's different for every single one of them. Which one was I even on? Ah, look at that. Call 123-456-7890 in Salt Lake City now, right? I'm on which page? Experiences, Emoji Pro. Okay, fine. So watch this. I'm just going to go do another one just to show you, right? Providence. Okay? Emoji Pro. Talk about the ease of keeping your website up to date. Yeah, call this other phone number, which happens to be the same in this case, in Providence now. It could easily be a different phone number. That could be a different phone number that I have pop up here for the phone number, right? It could be a different phone number in the header if I enable the header. And every one of these pages can still click through to, you know, what you should get, because if you understand what this is, you'll want it. Totally worth it. Okay, there you go. I think I've beat this to death. Let me make another point real quick for the fun of it. Say I want to go add another 1,000 pages. Generate batch ID. I'm going to add, I'm not going to add 1,000. I just want to top it off so Google sees it. I'm going to start though with starting ID 1001. Why? Because I want to pick up where I left off. Okay? Or if I really want to surprise Google, sometimes Google sees you add more pages. Well, I keep telling people, try not to add more than 10,000 pages to a single site because, you know, it's my server. Unless you get your own server, then add millions of pages, whatever you want. By having said that, watch this. Maybe I just want to change the last 100 sites. That should blow Google away. Or I'll overlap it. I'll overwrite the final 50 and then keep going with 50 more. Now, the only confusion I'm going to have doing that is this. When I run that, okay, it's got to start over from the beginning of my var sheet, from the top down. So you know what it's going to do? It's going to produce 100 more of the same rows that already exist, so I'm going to get duplicate entries. So I don't want to do that, do I? Instead, I want to just pick up and go further than I went before. Maybe I'll go like this. Give me 1100 starting from row 1. See the sense of that? That way it recreates the same 1000 it created before, but it adds the next 100 in. How's that for awesome? Okay? The cleanest, finest way to keep adding a little bit more, okay, without doing dumb stuff like repeating your URLs, which Google's just not gonna, want to see that repetition pop up all over the place. Yeah, there's your LA, and everything's there. If I were to go to Emoji Pro and hover over the lady I put in there, it's LA, all right. There you go. Totally awesome, right? So I just created 100 more pages and added images to them all. How's that for cool? Okay. Can an image be a variable? Yeah. Many of these images are variables. You can create more variable columns. Call them image 1, image 2, image 3. And just simply use the variables to represent the images. Just change it in the source code to the variable. Okay? And then put the image names in your list. Right? As long as the URLs are correct, the file paths, then it's going to work. How's that for awesome? Now, here's the coolest part that I haven't mentioned yet that you're going to love. Okay, this is where things get really exciting. I told you before that, when you're exporting these websites, you're not going to want the front pages, close tabs to the right. When you export, you don't want the front pages to be the same thing every time, right? You want them to be different. Well, let's try to memorize some things. Moji, best company, legacy UAP. Says whatever it says here. Moji company, choose legacy UAP. Click the image above for the best Moji. And it was just the first item in the var sheet. I can change that. Etc., right? Watch this. I'm going to generate random variables. This button does not exist if there is no var sheet up. I'm sorry, you can upload a new var sheet. The button will disappear until you create rows in your subdomains, your sitemap. Oh, I didn't even show you something else. But then once you do, you could generate random variables. All right, I'll show you this first. If I generate random variables, it's done. Global variables generated successfully. Guess what it did? It overwrote my global variables. All of these. Now, it's no longer Phoenix, it's Overland Park. The main keyword is, like Moji toolbars and stuff, and that's Kansas, of course, right? So it used a different row from my sitemap. Watch. Let's try. Okay, let's do this. Let's just compare. Ready? Okay, I'm not going to change the first. I'm not going to refresh the first one, but let's compare. Moji, best company, legacy UAP. Moji toolbar, courteous service, legacy UAP. Click here for the courteous Moji toolbar service, get access. That one said what? Oh, I can't refresh it now, can I? All right, let me just continue. Adaptation support assurance. This is our area, benefit, gratification. This said arrangements, elements, and method, whatever. This said data, factors, and method, right? We offer an extraordinary assortment of Moji toolbar understanding and aptitude to you, right? We provide an incredible range of Moji experience and proficiency to you. Whoo! How's that? So the front pages are different, aren't they? They're all pitching the same brand name because it's what I wanted. I only had one brand name in this case. The buttons will always click to the right page because that's what I wanted. Okay? But these are different, right? And that's the whole point. This whole front page, watch this. Text compare. You want to do a hands-on comparison? I'll show you. We're going to take the first page, Control-Alt, Control-C. Now, we're just doing the text, not the source code, okay? So it's going to be kind of sloppy in a way. Now we're going to compare it to the second page, Control-Alt, Control-C. Whoops. Yeah. Control-V. Now, as long as I got the two different ones, which I'm sure I did, yeah, then if I do a comparison, man, all of this highlighted stuff is what changed. As long as 30% of the page changes, you're fine. Google expects 30% or better, but there you go. Now the reviews, obviously, I flipped them on, but I didn't run variables through them at all, so they're the same. I could flip them off, right? And besides, it's really below the fold. Google cares far less about below the fold. They allow you a lot more room for duplication below the fold because somebody had to start above the fold and begin reading. So your below the fold could be the catch-all, could be the summary, could be the main stuff you need to know, but you came in through the above the fold information, and this is where it really counts to have differentiation, and we have it, okay? So once we get to our testimonials, yeah, sure, aren't they supposed to be the same sometimes? Maybe only had 5 testimonials? Then yeah, but it's way down here, right? See? So there you go. You can play with variability, improve variability all you want, but you can create millions of pages that are like this, except do not do it on my server. You create millions of pages, I suspend your account until you say, okay, I'm sorry, Dave. I wag my finger at you, and then you behave. Once you put this on your own server, you can do what you want. You can test, you can push the limits and the boundaries all you want. Isn't that neat? So all I had to do to create, and so now what could I do? You know, I could export. Now, if I want to export, I got to sign out and sign back in the proper way. Because right now I'm signed in with a security key, so it doesn't show me the export project link. Don't ask me why. That's just some remnant of ages past where, you know, that and that don't show up when you log in with the security key, but whatever. So now if I were to export the site, right, it's different content. I would just make sure now to go in and final tweak whichever of these, you know, belong to my client, right? So whatever it needs to be for my client, like brand name, website title. So I might be like, okay, change. You don't need to worry about webmaster. He won't get a panel. He'll get the exported output, right? Change that, change that, change that, you know, change that, right? That. And you can do this, right? You can do it right here in the panel. Change it, change it, change it, change it, change it, change it, change it. Update, 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 update. You know what's great? How many of you remember the old days when changing any one of those deleted the sitemap? Not anymore. Sitemap did not get deleted from doing that. How's that for awesome? Okay, so you can still manipulate the front-end variables without fear of losing your sitemap. Oh boy. So for you new guys, you just won't even have to think about it. It'll just work the way you expected it to. All right, how's that for awesome? Well, I hope I've shown you enough value for the money that you'll wind up spending for this. It's worth a great deal. Those of you who want to be able to install unlimited numbers of these to different websites and manipulate them, get a hold of me. The rabbit hole goes deep. First, there's this. Then there's creating multiple themes. What do you think you do when you create multiple themes? Your var sheet allows you to do what? Think about your themes column for a minute, because that's what that refers to in themes. Right there. You're going to be doing like 0 will be the original theme for however many guys. Maybe that's your dentist. And then you're going to use theme 1, you know, for all of your plumbers. And then you're going to use theme 2 for all of your roofers, right? You're just going to line this thing up to match the keyword combinations, the companies, the names of the phone numbers, people, company, whatever it is, keyword, you know, whatever it is, cities, whatever you made sure to line up. That's just strategy, right? Then yeah, you can cycle between themes. If you're doing real estate, This might be your Pacific Northwest theme, and then you made a version for, Midwest, and then you made a version for Florida, and so on. Okay? And that's exactly it. That's what that'll be for. And isn't that amazing when you think about the value of it? And the fact is, you can export websites using any one of those themes. All you have to do with the themes is just create one, like select theme. Customize, it just takes you to here. Okay? Select theme allows you to do that. I'm going to say, let's say Midwest real estate. I think you can do it that way. Yeah, I got my Midwest real estate. If I activate it right now, it happens to be the exact same, right? Because I didn't make any changes to it. So if I were to go here, right, it's going to be identical, right? Oh, one thing. Well, yeah, it's going to be until I make changes to it, okay? But I can now. So now if I go into global settings and I start to change things, I start to change especially theme settings and typography. Those are the two big ones. I can do it. I can change all the colors and I can change everything displaying in the banner slider. And all of these settings on this theme settings page, those two tabs, those govern the different themes. Everything else is shared, which is actually pretty cool if you think about it. It means you only need the same file to handle it all for all the different themes. Ain't that great? So once you get these theme settings and typography settings updated, then test it out. Swap between 0 and 1, because that's what I just created. I created 1. Okay? Then just run it. See how those act. Okay? Absolutely cool. And I've had somebody say sometimes that it seems to miss. If so, just add another 0 and that should do it, or add another 1 and that should do it. Don't ask me why. Whatever that is, we'll just figure it out and fix it. But you'll see how it works. It's almost like it's just ignoring the first one and it starts here sometimes. So you'll just figure it out and offset it. Just in your mind's eye, it means that 0 now is the latest one you generated and 1 is the old one. Whatever. All right, the fact of the matter is this is going to be really easy and really cool. And yes, you have this capability already with your purchase. Okay, all I can say is this. It's going to get more expensive, and I think you've seen the value, and I think you understand this is really amazing for the amount of power you can provide anyone and everything. Could you look up a list of like 10,000 guys in an industry and create unique pages for all of them? Yeah, you have their company name, their address, their city, state, zip, phone, maybe have their email, etc. What do? You just simply do your Moji run with all their information for all those company names, right? And then that way your entire sitemap points at each of them. So then what? Maybe you said, oops, I forgot to add visitor tracking. No problem. Go to global settings. Figure out where you got to put your visitor tracking. Either it's going to be here in meta tags or here in script. Paste it in. Update. And you just created visitor tracking onto all of your 6,000 pages in the process of doing that, because that's a universal meta tags edition. Okay, or body text. That's where the universal one is here, right? In general settings. If you want to be specific to a given page, you only want to do a certain page for a certain script. Go in there. Just do it here. The universal tags affect all the pages, but then these take over to continue for only their individual pages. But again, if you update that page right here, you just updated all of them, all 1,000 of them in your new sitemap. Now, there's one last thing that you'll want to learn because it'll be cool. The whole website, whatever template you're on, okay, make sure you're on the right one, like current theme happens to be this. If I download the feed file with all of these things selected, it will be for Midwest Real Estate, and it will say it on the first tab of the Excel file. What is this? You're downloading everything for this theme, and if you go to import, it will import. You can import that Excel file with any changes you made to it. as long as it's the same theme. It will check the theme name to make sure it's the same. Otherwise, it'll alert you that it's not a match. And you'll be like, oh, whoops, that's right. I'm uploading it to the wrong theme, aren't I? That's for your safety so you don't accidentally overwrite your other theme, right? But once you get on the right theme, okay, select theme. I'm going to activate this one, banner, right? Not that one, but this one. Boom. Now I'm back on banner, right? So if that's what I downloaded, that's what I need to upload or import, right? Now, this literally is your entire website in Excel, different tabs of Excel. And it can be manipulated right inside of Excel. You can overwrite things in the Excel file and then upload them to overwrite them on the website. But see how it says banner, right? It says banner down here on the file, but that's not really what matters. What matters is this. Enable. Okay. First tab, subdomains list. The theme name, that's what it says here, is banner. Okay. Now, there's my general settings tab. My admin email says webmaster. My website title says website title. My website logo, if it has one, or I can delete it if it's wrong. There's script. There's copyright text. Everything is here. Canonical URLs include zeros, www. That should just be 0. Some of these fields do funny things like that, but no big deal. Because when you import it, you'll see it. You can fix it. There's that. There's nothing there. Right. And so back to here. Yeah, we didn't have a logo, so just delete that. But there you go. Now what? Theme options. This is everything. You have any idea how much stuff is here? What kind of layout? Fluid type or box layout? You can literally change it. Do we enable the sidebar widget or not? 0 or 1. Yes or no? It means 0 or 1. Is the location left or right or horizontal? How many widgets per row? Do we enable the Google Translator? Do we align the translator left to right or center? Enable the header of the company, the serving grader, this side, this, that, this, that, this, that. You realize that? Look at that, how long this is. You can control everything. You can even do a replacement. Say you change something. Maybe you mistyped company all throughout the page because you copied and pasted it, but then you got to write on your global variables. How do you fix that? You do a Control H. Find the misspelling. What? Nanny or something? Nay? Right? Whatever the misspelling was. Make it company. If you want to be exacting, be a little more exacting. Make sure you get it right, however it is you need to. And don't just change it here. That'll only do it on this page. But if you need to do it on the whole worksheet or workbook, don't just go with the sheet, but the workbook, replace all, whap. There. And it couldn't find any. Ain't that great? Now I know this thing's perfect. It checked all of my tabs. Everything. All the typography settings. The fonts, the colors, the styles, the opacities, the background images, the parallax settings, everything. It checked all the pages contents. The content of every page is in here. Whether the sidebar widgets, whether it's all or just some of them. That's where you see things like 2 and 1 is for modules, 2 and 1. Module 7 only. Things like that. Okay, if you want to know what it is, just kind of click on that and look around for wherever we put something that has to do with it. But there you have it. All the stuff. And it's all here. The only thing that cannot be stored in the Excel file are the images. But do you remember how to deal with the images? So I could save it, and I could upload it with my changes. I can import it, choose it, and it will overwrite everything I have. But you know what that means? I can make versions of it, one for the holidays, for Christmas, another one for Valentine's Day, another one for summer holidays, another one for this, another one for that. Halloween. And that way they can have new settings with different links to different images for the different seasons. You know, maybe use different scary fonts for the headers. What do I know? Or you know, really cursive-y fonts for Christmas or Valentine's Day. You can literally come out with all your variations and save them with different names, like Valentine's Day, Christmas, Easter, whatever it is. And that way, you can flip from one to the next anytime you're ready for the holidays to offer bonuses, discounts, or push something new. And Google will see all those updates and all those images and all those alt codes and all those have a Merry Christmas or whatever it is you're going to say. What is Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas, or anything else? All right, having said that, there's all your power to that, right? That's huge. And again, how do you get the images? In case you were wondering, hit any browse button that allows you to see files and images. Just close it up. Highlight a couple of, oh yeah, you can't highlight two, but you can take one. And that just has one thing in it right now. Who really cares? It's just one looping video. I don't need to zip one thing up. But if I take this images, I could download it as a zip file. And look at that. All of it just got downloaded. Okay? Where? Show in the folder. I want to make sure it's on my desktop so I can show you what I'm after. Yeah. So watch. Okay? Just to make sure you see how cool this is. Because you can highlight a few to download or the whole thing. WinZip, unzip to images. Let's see how complete. Look at that. All of them. Images. The whole thing is here. All of it is here. My entire images structure. You know what that means? That means I just took a backup of my entire website. If you have the images folder from your website and the feed file downloaded with all the tabs, that's a backup of your website. If anything ever goes wrong and you lose chunks of your website for some silly reason, you have it all here. The only other thing you wanted was your most recent var sheet. Do you realize that those three things represent your entire website? Okay. So the only other thing you would care about is creating other downloads for your other themes, right? If you do have more than one theme, make sure to get that one. Like if I did have this other Midwest real estate theme and I made changes to it, come here and download that feed file, right? And then that way I've got that one too. That'll be the one for Midwest real estate. It'll say so on that first tab of the Excel file, right? And since those images will be different, if they will, you might just have all the images in all the folders. But see this? It's switched to user files, Midwest real estate images, and that shouldn't be there. But the point is, you can go get all your images from there, okay? And so you can download that too and give that a name, rename it, call it Midwest, right? Images. All right, I think you get the idea. You have just this unprecedented amount of control. It's so easy to roll with this thing. You can do, I always teach people what? Get videos that are generic. Put them in your pages. You can stick the videos, you can embed any YouTube video that's public into a page, right? You know how to do that? I mean, even if you're not embedding the YouTube video thing, go to youtube.com, find any video, grab the embed code, and then what? Just go into the page that you care about because you're going to embed this into all those pages if you do it that way. Go into whichever page it was, right? And just stick the source code wherever it belongs in there. You know, maybe you want to put it at the top of the page, in the middle of the page, down below. Maybe you want the video to play right before somebody clicks the link so that the video is going to offer them to, you know, the explanation for clicking the link. So you just hit source and realize that that's got to be like right here is the paragraph that's empty. There's your header, then your empty paragraph, then it continues. This I could replace right here with the YouTube embed code. Then I can decide how wide to make the video. Usually it's best to go 100% for width, right? Or 80% for width. Percent. That way it's different widths depending on the device somebody's watching it from, right? That way it doesn't break the page. Okay. Now, are you putting that there really for humans to read? Maybe. Maybe you're just putting it there for Google to count the algorithm higher. Okay? That's the point. This is how you perfect your websites to drive traffic into the websites you have that you don't need to SEO optimize, because these do all that heavy lifting for you. You have a page for every keyword, times every service, times every variable you need. Mix and match videos, because you can make tokens, right? And turn them into global variables and put a list of YouTube videos in there. They can swap, you know? So it's not always the same video, okay? You can swap the call now images so they're not always the same call now image. You can make anything a variable and just add it to your variables list. Only thing is, keep the first variables in check, A through K. All your stuff are user-defined variables, and it comes after that, okay? So A through K. Then whatever changes you make to your var sheet, re-upload it. And when you do, it'll break your sitemap. So regenerate your sitemap with however many pages starting from whatever row, okay? Theoretically, if you had no important brackets in your var sheet, like you had no city, you had no address, you had no phone, you really didn't need brackets, it was all random, then yeah, then you could just go to your var sheet loader, and when you generate, you say, I want more pages, I want like 100 more pages, okay? Then you could say, okay, start with 1001 to create them, because it'll all be random. It won't start at the beginning point. Now, if you've got some columns that have brackets, but they're not really important, right? They're not going to affect the URLs. That's another thing. But like I say, the URLs at this level of your training are based on city, service, and keyword. Those three columns that go right next to each other. And because that's true, it is better for you not to just go by chance and have it randomize. Have it methodically create all possible exacting combinations. So make sure this will not be a perfect multiple of this, and that is not a perfect multiple of this, so that you can say, I want this, which is 36 minus 1, 35, times 11, right? 12 minus 1 is 11, times 11 minus 1 is 10, right? So 110 times 35, right? And that way you know you're getting all of them in there. And if you ever have to regenerate the sitemap, start from row 1, because it will recreate all of this in the process of continuing. Of course, if you add some more cities later, okay, it's going to wind up throwing some of these into different positions of the sitemap than they would have been in before. But if you're still doing exact math on all three of these columns, then it will create all of those pages, and therefore, even if they get shuffled in your sitemap, it won't matter. Here's the final thing I meant to say before that I totally forgot about, and it does matter, so I will show you. In case you're wondering, sitemap.html. Okay, you see that? I can go sitemap.xml, and yeah, that got created all right just as fast, okay? For again, like anytime the bots come back, then they're going to see all the URLs are there, okay? By the way, that also means this. The bots are wondering where your sitemaps are, what the names of the sitemap files are. So it will look at robots.txt, which will have that information for the bots. Google bots, Yahoo bots, Bing bots are all going to be pinged when you change your sitemaps, and they're all going to know where to find your sitemaps to double check them anytime they come crawling through. Can you get multiple legacy UAPs to interweave them? Kind of like your own PBN that could be used for anything under the sun, create an empire of them? Yeah. And if you're on a tighter budget, can you just export a bunch just to have them in different places? Yeah. So you really can create lots of links that use a bunch of your domains to point at other domains to drive the strength up. And for those of you who can afford more UAPs, then you can just do more projects at the same time. For those of you that want to get bigger and you want to get something like the software installer version where you can actually just install this to as many places as you want for $2,500, let me know. That's an option. For those of you that wonder what's bigger, if you get that big, then and we get talking about bigger and you want bigger, then I can discount that right, from your purchase because you're going bigger still. So I only want to talk to guys who are serious about it because, you know, I don't have time to talk to everyone about what kind of powers there. But if you're climbing up that ladder, then yeah, I mean, have that conversation with me because there are those guys among you who can climb quite a bit higher than you do. Those of you that do, you want to know what kind of power you have. And some of you guys who are really hefty players, if you're interested in this and you would like to try your hand at this and you've been putting a lot of money into me lately, get a hold of me and ask because I want to make sure to take care of you guys too, especially my biggest funders. This is the biggest thing we've come out with. I want to make sure to take care of the guys who are keeping up. For the rest of you, build your way up, get in, and don't miss. The price is only going up. How do you get it? Website-installer.com. Okay. Choose your category. Legacy UAP. Okay. Get the details. You can look at the demo if you want, but get the details. Okay. Once you get them, all right, then you just do this. You fill in the top for your order. If you have a promo code, use it. You'd use it here. Now, those of you who already have your own promo code, you know you can't use your own promo code in your own purchases. Okay. If you're signed in, it won't let a promo code work anyway. Okay. Now, company information is optional, but it'll update the fields inside the var sheet. Certain fields will get updated automatically. Do you really need that for the UAP? No, because you're going to manipulate the var sheet afterward anyway. So you could just skip this whole section because you're just going to fill it out later anyway with whatever you want. Okay. Now, a domain name. We need a domain name. This has to go somewhere, and you want to own the domain name. Don't let us buy it. Okay, you want that to be yours. If you don't have one that you can use, click here. And like I said, something generic, you know, industry-leaders.net or bestprovidersintown.com. That way all your subdomains will still work with all of that, right? Or if you're sticking with a certain industry, stay focused on that and be as generic as you can within that industry, okay? Like bestroofersintown.com or .net. Okay. And remember, this is for backlinking. So if somebody else has a .com and you want to get the .net, you can go ahead and do that if you really want. It's for more for backlinking and tier 2 work than for actual human visitors. But all the human visitors who do wind up coming because of the keywords, those who come, they are able to click through to your destination. Okay. That's really cool. Now, I have had some people say, how can you increase time on site if they're clicking right off of it? And the answer is, get a video link up. You could have the banner link. This is just, again, strategy. Those of you that play around with it, you could have this point at an anchor text down here, right? You could have a video like this literally right here, maybe even above here. And then when they watch it, they'll know to click here. You can do that. Or you can update your website to make that change later. How's that for amazing? You have that much power. So even if you already created 6,000 or however many, 10,000 pages, and you want to make functional changes that improve all of them, it's easy. That's the power. That's insane. Okay? All right. And all I can say is, yeah, once you get your domain name, then change the name servers. You know, you'll log in to get it, and so then go to it and set the name servers to ns1.tdha.com and ns2.tdha.com. If you don't know how to do it, ask the registrar support, like GoDaddy support, how to do it because they're awesome. They will absolutely help you. It's very simple to do this. Not technical. You just need to know where to go to click the buttons. Now, there you go. Once you have it, you can hit buy. And you can pay with PayPal or a credit card. Your website will be installed live within 2 minutes. There's video training here, but you've already seen it. If you have any installation issues or anything else, contact us to let us know. If you have any real issues or you have questions or you want to talk bigger, give me a call here. Okay? And yeah, let's definitely take care of you. You know, we can do so much for everyone. I've had guys say, can we do more specific UAPs for different industries and roll out within the industry? And the answer is absolutely. We can do specific projects to benefit you and roll them out. What can we do UAP with? Everything. Do you guys remember anything, the weight loss template, the woodworking template, the architect template, anything you see here, driveway contractor, film workers, anything. There's this like life thing. There's this green or eco-friendly, right? We have so many templates and we can do projects on any one of them. So if you're scrolling through some of them and you're finding them interesting, get a hold of me and see what it takes to get something like that built for your needs. Okay? Any industry you want to take it over? Let's talk. All right. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one.